6 up-and-coming claims managers, 6 ambitious candidates, all with one aim: to be crowned Claims Apprentice 2023. It's time for the final task, and the apprentices arrive in the boardroom to meet Claire Mulligan.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Today is our final task, and today you're flying solo. I'm going to grill each of you about your experience on the Claims Apprentice. What were your strengths? What challenged you? Do you think you've changed as a result of this process? What have you learnt? I'll then be speaking to each of my colleagues who have been working with you to find out what happened behind closed doors. And then I will decide which of you will be Claims Apprentice 2023. Thank you.
Thank you.
One by one, each of the apprentices will have to face Claire Mulligan, who will grill them about their experience on the programme and find out what they have learnt. As the apprentices wait to see Claire, what are they hoping to convey in their interviews?
Well, hopefully she won't get how nervous I am. I'd like to get across that, I'm a nice guy, I'm charismatic. I'd like to think that I am serious about this job, and I've had a great time and a great experience doing the Claims Apprentice.
Hopefully I'll big myself up in there, that I'll show I've been a confident person even though it's been out of my comfort zone.
I think just to kind of let her know that my sort of role in the team, what sort of things that I've done, some of the ideas that I've brought across, just because I think it might not be clear on camera, or sort of other people might not have picked up on what I've sort of done.
I want Claire to be able to see I'm very driven, I can get things done, and time doesn't really matter.
I'd like Claire to know what it is I bring to the table, what I added to the tasks, what I've learned from the experience, and kind of where I hope the experience is going to help take me.
I feel like I could have done a little bit better on certain tasks, but I'm proud of what I have done.
As well as drawing information from the interviews, Claire will seek help from her trusted advisors, Jonathan Swift and Emma-Ann Hughes from Insurance Post, who have been overseeing all the tasks.
You sat through all the tasks with them, you've observed the teams. Let's talk about Team Aspire.
First apprentice in the hot seat is Basil.
So I think Basil, his infectious laugh, I think everyone liked his infectious laugh, and his US accent, which has now got a hint of Geordie from living in Newcastle. I think he's a very good contestant here. I think, during the game show, he's the one who spotted the kind of answer and to change it. And also, I think during the podcast, he really was very professional in how he would help the presentation. So, very strong candidate, Basil.
So, Basil, how have you found your 3 challenges?
Surprisingly, my favourite one was the escape room, because I've got a known aversion to escape rooms at my company. We had one for Christmas and I absolutely would not do it. So when we found out there was an escape room today, I said, oh gosh. But no, it was really great. The thing I learned the most from it was, logical thinking and then organization as well. And as well as teamwork. I think my team worked really, really well with it. And that was the first task to do, so we got off to a great start in that regard, I think.
Do you think you've learned anything in particular from this process? Because it's obviously very different to the day job.
The Would I Lie to You task taught me how to beat the insurance game completely, so I'll be coming back for a claim. No, it was great. Working in a good team, I found that really, really important. And my teammates were absolutely fantastic, because you're coming into a new environment, and to have their support and bounce ideas off each other, I found that having a team really helped out, because if I was on my own, I would be completely stuck with a lot of these things.
Next up is Safa.
Now, Safa, she's someone who's definitely grown in confidence during this process. I mean, as she mentioned, she really enjoyed the escape room challenge. You know, her knowledge of previous winners of Claims Apprentice was amazing. I thought it was very good when she talked about the podcast challenge and how she managed to market it. You know, the fact that she talked about the fact that she took on the Zurich IT system and won to make sure it got out there through the firewalls and so people could actually listen to it. And, you know, they won the challenge quite convincingly, and I'm sure she was very much kind of responsible for that.
What's been your favourite challenge that you've had to deal with?
My most favourite challenge was probably the escape room challenge. Because I felt like I was extremely competitive in there, which might be seen as a negative thing at times, but it could be seen as positive. But I feel like in that challenge, like, I really enjoyed it. I think as well as that, just looking through clues and just trying to find the correct answers. And I feel like there were times when my competitive side might have become a bit overbearing, but then my team and I really gelled together. They were like able to help me with certain like clues that I couldn't work out, and then I guess we were all like competitive at one point because we all wanted to win that challenge, but I think we all did really well.
So, looking at your team, do you enjoy the team working, or do you prefer working on your own?
I guess it depends on the task, but I feel like I enjoy team working because at certain times I wouldn't know the answer and my team would obviously have different views to myself, and then that could, like, speaking to other people and discussing it with others could create one perfect idea rather than just myself and pushing my views across. So I really do enjoy teamwork because I feel like that's what builds like a great idea, I guess.
Last member of Team Aspire is Alan.
Yeah, I mean, Alan, you know, he's somebody who's quite quiet, but I think speaking to the contestants, we've just heard them during the interview process, he got mentioned quite a lot as somebody who they saw as a potential winner here. Definitely, he's somebody who you could tell, you know, he's got a bit more maturity than some of the other contestants. I thought he was very good on the podcast challenge. He was also, during the escape room, you could tell, you know, he was very good at thinking things. I think the podcast challenge was very good for Alan because it was the one challenge he didn't want to do. He really, when he came here, he was told he wouldn't repeat a challenge. Well, we did the podcast again, which did 2 years, and actually he ended up really enjoying it and he actually liked hearing his own voice.
What was your motivation for coming on to The Apprentice?
My motivation was I really wanted to push my boundaries and experience things that I've never done before. So throughout the challenges, working as part of a team who I've never met before and doing podcasts, learning what Vox Pops were, you know. It took me a while to figure out what Vox Pops were and what they were called. So yeah, being able to prove to myself I can do this and it, you know, help my confidence as well. That was my key motivations to doing this.
So if you were talking to someone that's thinking about doing, you know, the Insurance Claims Apprentice for 2024, what would your advice be to them?
I think my advice would be apply and do it if you have the opportunity. It's a really great experience to work on yourself, working as part of teams, learning new skill sets and going outside of your boundaries, your comfort zone, and ultimately it helps raise your profile both internally in your company through your company support as well as externally on your social medias like LinkedIn.
Ellie is next.
So Ellie's a bright spark who, if she just grows in confidence, will become like a shining star in the industry. She's very great at asking pertinent questions. She's good at being analytical and organised. And when she was the one who came up with the name Team Connect, and she had a really clear rationale as to why, her team was connecting claims talent from across the country, England, Wales and Scotland.
Hi Ellie.
Hiya.
What interested you most about doing the podcast?
I think that it was really interesting to be able to do like research on something that's sort of outside of my sort of role, because before I've not really had much experience with like motor claims, didn't really know much, so I think the whole sort of research aspect was really interesting, and I think it was my first podcast. I've never had like experience of anything like that before, so I think it was like quite fun to sort of dive in and give it a go.
Is there something you've learned from this that you're going to take back to the day job?
Yeah, so I think I've learned loads of new things, like sort of all the sort of challenges have taught me more about different aspects of claims that I wasn't aware of before. But I really, going back to it, just think it's like how to speak to people how to be like in front of a camera, and just there's so much that you don't really think about when it goes into these things, and then you do it and then you sort of realise.
Next from Team Connect is Alistair.
Alistair's a great example of, bringing talent in from a different sector and how well it can work in the claims industry. He always asked pertinent questions, he'd come up with sensible, considered answers, and he really helped get the jobs done.
So Alistair, we've gone through the 3 tasks. Was there a leader in your team, or were you all working equally? How was the team dynamic?
I actually thought we worked really well as a team. Everybody, I think we worked fairly. We kind of made sure, even when we're out in the street asking questions and things, we made sure everybody took their turn in asking questions, and any ideas we brought to the table, everybody got an opportunity to discuss any of the ideas that were brought to the table. So if there was anyone in the group that's maybe a wee bit quieter or maybe not on the front foot coming forward with their ideas, we tried to speak to them and draw it out of them to make sure we got a collective idea and opinion from everyone in the team. So I actually thought we worked really well as a team. There was no bickering or anything at all. It was all quite smooth, I felt.
You've obviously been working whilst doing this scenarios. How has it impacted on your work?
Doing things where you're out of your comfort zone and potentially being thrown curveballs. Like I said, the podcast, for example, wasn't a subject which I really knew anything about. So it's seeing that you can actually react to those curveballs and how quickly you can adapt and sort of overcome that challenge. So I suppose it's kind of helped, which happens in the job I'm in insurance and stuff. You open that email and it's something you've never come across before, and you suddenly realise you have to learn about that subject, or you're not going to be able to get through what you've got in front of you. So I think it helps build your confidence and ability to get through those situations.
Last but not least, it's Rebecca's turn to meet Claire.
She's confident and she's competitive. She was in it to win it right from the start. She always gets the jobs done, but sometimes she's so focused on the finishing line, she doesn't see the bigger picture that's going on around her. An example of that would be the podcast task, where she was very much focused for quite a while on it being fun and light-hearted, even though it was quite clear from early research and speaking to her Kennedy's mentor, that wasn't an appropriate approach for that topic.
Can you tell me about the task you enjoyed the most?
I think for me the best task was the game show. I think I was really able to kind of show my abilities, and I don't think they expected me to really do my research on the other contestants. So when one of the clues, or one of the ones that they did, was the dive-in, I was able to pick up that Basil like dive-in, and that's what he had put before.
And what have you learned about yourself coming out of this process?
That I'm a very good leader. So I always thought maybe like managing people wouldn't be kind of down my path, because I know I've got a good technical brain, but whether I'm able to kind of share that knowledge with other people, I didn't know whether that would be possible. But I think in the team dynamic that we had, I was able to kind of show that, and I didn't necessarily realise that I had that potential.
Well, thank you, Emma and Swifty. That's been really helpful. There's a lot to think about, but I value your input. I think I need to go away and have a good think.
After 6 interviews and input from Jonathan and Emma, it's time for Claire to decide who will be crowned the Claims Apprentice 2023.
So, Claims Apprentices 2023. You've had 3 tasks. I have to say I've been impressed, which is very hard to impress me. They were not easy tasks. They were designed to try and trip you up, try and make you think outside the box. But you've surprised me. We have been impressed. I've spoken to my fellow mentors to ask what they thought about your conduct and process throughout the tasks. And I've spoken to Swifty and Emma, your team captains, your champions, who've been observing you throughout the whole process. We've had to weigh up, are we looking for someone who's a leader? Are we looking for someone who's analytical and thinking? Are we looking for someone that's proved along the journey? We have a decision, and it was unanimous. The winner of Claims Apprentice 2023 is Safa. Congratulations.
And so, after 3 team challenges and the interviews, we're finally able to announce the 2023 Claims Apprentice. It's congratulations to Safa Said, Claims Apprentice from Zurich Insurance UK.
Honestly, it hasn't processed yet. I think I'm still taking it in. I can't believe it, but I am really grateful for actually winning. Just meeting and working with everyone has been really great. I had like lovely team members and I got to make lots of new connections, which has been honestly, it's been the best part. I didn't want to do this at first as well, but now I've actually won the Claims Apprentice. So like, just put yourself out there, be confident, don't be afraid, and just, yeah, go for it. That would be my advice.
If you think you have what it takes to become the next Claims Apprentice, don't delay. Send an email to Insurance Post today.